Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we all become immortal for just a little while with the film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. My name is Tom Taylor.
My name is Pete Mummert.
I'm Gerald Christopher, St. Epipodius and Alexander. They were one of those pairs saints. I'm not sure why. Those guys always travels in twos. Patron saints of victims of betrayal.
Oh my gosh.
So it's
Wow.
pretty good. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Donovan, he has somebody he can go to now. Porter.
Now you tell him.
Yeah. Well, that's apt also for this minute.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. Porter?
Yep, Porter.
Okay, Porter.
I said
Just wanted to make sure. And we are joined again by our old friend, Stephen Badham. Welcome back.
Hello, I'm a Chicago cop this time. Or a Russian submarine commander. Or the chief metallurgist to King Charles V. Or one of those.
One of those guys. Boy, that guy was busy in the 80s and 90s. Well, welcome back, Stephen.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going well. We're hoping to not be killed by another false grail as we enter into minute 115 of Last Crusade, which begins with Indy taking a big fat gulp from the hopefully real grail, and it ends with Indy healing Henry's wound with water from the grail.
Is this a dribble grail?
Indy makes everything he drinks from a dribble grail.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's thirsty.
It's like when you go to the magic shop and they've got the little cup and you drink it and it all goes down your chin.
I think just Indy's a big fat slob.
Yeah.
I love how he drinks. That's exactly how I drink.
It is.
Is
It
that-
is. Yeah, it is.
This is, I think Claudius has enough nerd cred that maybe people will know what I'm talking about because Captain Picard's in it and Sala's in it and all these people. There's a scene in Claudius where Claudius has been invited to a woman's home who he knows has murdered, like poisoned a lot of her enemies. And he gets to the dinner and he just gulps down like 5 or 6 things of wine just to like show that he's trusting that she's not poisoning him. That's exactly the thing I get here. I'm like, I'm just going to drink this as hard and as fast as I can because if it's going to kill me, it's going to kill me, but hopefully it doesn't. I'm just going to be all right. I'm deciding I'm going to be okay.
It's pretty amazing that, Indy actually just witnessed Donovan's demise and, a pretty nasty, gnarly one with exploding hair follicles.
Yeah.
And then he runs right over and he's just, he's an unrelenting gulper.
Yeah.
Well, there is only one way to find out.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that is true, and he is a man of action, and that is, I would say, that is his character. There, he doesn't really stop and think about things too much.
He's also receiving lighting from the Pulp Fiction suitcase as well, so that's good.
Yeah, how many important objects in the Indy movies that we've seen so far have that exact gold glow that they give off?
Yeah, like the Chachapoyan idol and
the
Ark of
idol.
Covenant, the Sankara stones.
Yeah.
Gold was a very 80s color gold, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Gold
Yeah.
and black furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watching Indiana Jones run over and gulp down the everlasting life water, I realized how much this minute reads like the Indiana Jones comic book.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
How so?
Just the whole ending of it is, it's kind of like those, what was it, the somethings of Icon, the
Statues or the
statues of
the
Icon.
icons
Just
of-
icons of Icarinus or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just, there's something, it gets a little bit, it's past an action adventure movie and into comic book territory.
That's fine. Yeah, like if you saw this exact thing in a comic book, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, sure," but that would never be in a movie.
Yes,
That just wouldn't
exactly.
read in a movie.
It just wouldn't read in a movie. And it's a little, I can't explain it. I'm not saying I hate it.
It kind of sounds like you are.
Well, it's less for me than some other stuff. For this one, it goes, you're like, he's drinking from, like Indiana Jones is about to become immortal.
Mm-hmm.
He's holding the cup with some vigor.
Yeah.
And
That's a little different than like a professor of archaeology who goes to South America over spring break.
But he is. I mean, his dad's dying out in the next room, and he's pretty frantic to get him some help.
I'm just asking, how did we get here?
through 3 tests.
Donovan's copper mines discovered a tablet, and part of it was missing, so they got.
It's just it's
Spielberg and Lucas.
It's off
found
the action adventure page and into
Sandcastle
comic
movie.
book, into comic book territory for me a little bit.
In what sense?
When I think of this might be a click too far in the supernatural.
Wait.
What?
I know, Pete. I know. But listen, I mean, it's just I was hoping I would.
We literally had ghosts killing people.
Yeah,
2 films ago.
We had the skies open up and dump.
I know.
Jerry's been describing everything in these movies to the supernatural.
Jerry, I would agree with you 100% if at the end of the movie Indiana Jones was immortal. That would be super weird.
But he does. I think this might help explain how he survives like a refrigerator ride and a waterfall and stuff in the next movie.
I don't have to want to start disputing stuff from the next movie already.
I know.
I'm
And then now,
exhausted as it is.
Indiana being immortal isn't an everyman.
Right.
Yeah.
Question though, why doesn't his scar go away when he drinks this on his chin?
Well, to take your little tidbit there, Peter, you're just kept with wherever you are. If you're old, when you're old,
right.
you're old. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you've got a gunshot, that's where you are. So it seems like you would always have a gunshot.
But the scar
That's a good point.
is technically healed already.
Yeah, that's true. Well, so wait, and I guess we'll get there, but I mean, Indiana Jones isn't immortal now, is he?
Well,
We
we'll
don't
get
know.
there.
He hasn't died yet.
I think right now he is. Literally.
As
Yeah,
long as he
yeah.
doesn't leave this past the seal.
Well, the knight says the grail cannot pass the great seal.
That is the
Yes.
boundary and the price of immortality.
So nowhere in that does that make me think that Indy is not allowed to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he might take some extra powers with him now that he is drunk from it.
Oh, maybe he can kill people in the form of the other grails or something.
But there's the knight doesn't mention the fact that he just says you can't take the grail. That's the price of immortality. You can't take the grail. But he doesn't say that you can't put it in your mouth and take it with you. Or
Swish
some
it
other
around
vessel.
a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just slimy water you've got here.
How old is it?
But I would assume, just on this reading of this minute, now and forever, Indiana Jones is immortal. He's allowed to pass seals.
And the knight doesn't say that he's not immortal. The knight just says the price is that you can't take the grail past there with you. So if you want to put it in the museum, sorry.
Well, but right there is a little, that's maybe where it spreads over into comic book for me.
But he's only immortal for like 5 minutes, if that.
Well, we don't know. He hasn't died in an Indiana Jones movie.
See, isn't there this theory that
Well, I haven't
I think
died
I saw
either.
this posted on the Facebook group, but I'm sure there's a theory that the fact that he doesn't die when he gets blasted in a fridge from a nuclear explosion
Right.
is
got
the
this-
fact
But
that
if
he's
the
immortal.
guy's immortal, who cares what happens in any movie?
He's already an action hero. He's not going to die in any normal way.
Well, I mean, just like walk into the British Museum and take the Elgin marbles and just walk across the ocean with them, and put them in the
That's a
Smithsonian
channel,
if you
not an
want.
ocean.
Well, I'm saying you can bring them back to it. Just do whatever you want all the time. Like no one can kill you.
Yeah.
Not to jump ahead, but like the Grail does pass the seal, so that undoes everything, right?
Does
That's
it?
what I'm
so
saying.
That's not what the knight says.
Yeah.
What?
The knight says the grail cannot pass the seal. It
Yeah,
doesn't say
but-
that it'll stop you being immortal once you've drunk from it.
Yeah.
Oh,
If we're being very literal,
no, no. He does say it's the price of immortality. So if the Grail does pass the seal, that undoes the deal.
No, I see. I thought he meant that the price
Oh.
of immortality is you get to be immortal, but you don't get to take the grail with you. You could also read it, the price of immortality, like that.
yeah, that's how.
Yeah,
I
but
read
you're
it.
right.
the seal is the border of that. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but still,
So if he left the grail but walked out without the grail, would he be immortal?
I think so. Yeah, but
I
I think
think
since
so,
the
too.
Grail itself passes the seal, I think that undoes it.
So
Oh,
Elsa was
interesting.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Elsa. I could have done 2 more movies. Oh,
Do you think Elsa's had a couple of drinks before they've come out here? Like, is she never going to die in this movie?
You know what? But is the price of immortality? I mean, somewhere down the road, that may become a curse.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know when, but at some point that might become a curse. Because you might be like, I'm kind of done with it. I mean, because now you're just waiting for the cosmos to end.
And even then, you're not gonna end.
Right.
Like, you're just gonna be.
Yeah, even then you're not gonna end.
That's gonna really.
But what form does immortality take? Is it like Wolverine that if you get shot up, you just heal yourself, or is it that anything that happens to you stays? So if a piano falls on you, you turn into Flat Stanley or whatever.
Or what if it, like, imagine you're sitting there and it's like you live way past everybody, and it's one of those things where the sun becomes like a giant red star or whatever, and it absorbs the earth, and you're just sitting in a ball of fire, and you can't get out of it. You can't die. You're alone essentially. So it's not like you can swim away or jump into space and start crawling. You're just sitting there in like a ball of flame forever.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't build a rocket ship. There's nobody else around. I mean,
Grail.
exactly. It's like you're just sort of destined. I mean, you got to be pretty damn careful on where you got to be constantly planning.
Yeah.
Do you think that when the
That's all I'm
knight
saying.
says this about the price of immortality is that you can't take the grail, do you think that cuts into Indy at all? Do you think he's at all disappointed?
No.
Like, they didn't even cut back to him when he finds out that he got the right grail. Like,
I don't think he cares. Yeah, I
It's a
think he
single
just wants
shot
to
of
save
the
his
knight
dad.
just saying, "Oh, you chose wisely," and "Oh, but you can't take it." But they never show like Indy's reaction to the fact that he's fine, that he's alive and didn't drink from the wrong.
That's because the
grail.
entire point of this is he's only trying to heal his dad.
Yeah.
Right.
His dad got in over his head, and that's all that he doesn't. As you say, he never anticipated taking the Grail to a museum.
It's
right?
really weird that we said this a long time ago. It never has seemed like Indy cares at all about finding the Holy Grail.
But that's like I was saying. This mirrors Raiders, and Raiders began in a very similar scene that this ends with, and that was him. All he wanted was to get this treasure for himself, and now we end with Indy has this character arc finally in the last movie. When they made this, they thought it ends with him not seeking something for himself, but for somebody else.
Yeah, that's nice on paper, but it doesn't totally read that way. But I agree with you.
The other aspect, he's just so fed up with this awful childhood with Grail lore. I mean, basically, the Holy Grail is, his father's mistress.
Yeah, if there's one artifact that he's not going to care about, it's that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he's just tired of it. Please, nothing is going to get past the seal. It's
God, wouldn't it be
fine.
awesome
You
if
can
he
keep
got
your
the
damn Grail?
If he got the grail and he brings it out to his dad and then just smashes it on the ground in front of him. Take that, old man. Who's counting the Greek now? Not coming to my soccer game, are you?
You smashed my cup.
I absolutely love it. The quote is, but the Grail cannot pass beyond the Great Seal. That's the boundary and the price of immortality. And I'm just thinking, isn't that just like Christianity, man?
Uh-huh.
It's like, hey, I planted this tree of knowledge. You're going to love it. But you don't touch it.
Right.
Abraham, congrats. Your wife's pregnant. Now sacrifice the kid to me, will you?
Yeah.
Is this reminiscent of Luke throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder in The Last Jedi?
Oh,
Sad belt.
Yeah.
I love that. I love every part of
You know
Last
what?
Jedi.
By the way, I thought, it's funny. I didn't bring this up because everybody would say, oh, God, you got him riled up again. I felt that way and thought about that when the Grail Knight fell backwards and, didn't have the strength of the sword.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very tense moment, and then it goes a very different way, much like the Luke throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder.
Huh. It's interesting that Tom loved one of those but hated the other.
One works and is in the spirit of the movie.
I
the other is
do
not.
not concur, Doctor.
All right.
Well, so wait a minute. Are you saying you don't like the Luke lightsaber throw?
I do
Oh,
like
no.
the Luke lightsaber throw. Oh, who are
Well,
you
no, I know
asking?
you do, Tom, but Steven,
Oh.
you don't?
With all my heart, I hate it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's a metaphor for every problem with the entire movie, but we're not talking about that film.
Sure.
I do have a little Star Wars potential fever dream thing here. An old man sitting down, semi-supernatural old man, talking about the lore of his religion and what you can and can't do with it, to a younger man and an even younger person who's blonde. Is that not going back to on the Millennium
That's
Falcon?
good.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I'm grasping at straws here, but
No, I like that.
I like it.
No. I like. Do you think Henry is going to ask Indy to remove his glasses so he can look at his son with his own eyes?
maybe he'll ask him to put a helmet on and trust his feelings.
Yeah.
Hey, as they run out into the main chamber back where Henry and everybody is, we get solid visual proof that you can see from out there what's going on in the Breath of God chamber with you can see the giant blade sitting there.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know, not to go all the way back to that whole thing, but like, why couldn't they just have observed what was happening to those guys getting their heads cut off?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
And they do that very, very quickly with a cup full of water across an invisible bridge, jumping over the Jehovah stones.
It's like that famous waiters race where they, where they all have the platter with the glass on it that they can't spill when they're running.
Yeah. I guess the only hard part would be like the name of God thing where you're doing that hopscotch across the thing. That would be tricky.
Yeah. Although maybe the other letters have all fallen at that point.
Puts his hand over the top of it and just runs.
Yeah, probably just filled it up as much as he possibly could, knowing that he was going to spill a bunch.
Yeah.
He put it in his mouth and spat it back in. That's what he did.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, how many times did he run like halfway and he's like spilled it? It's like, God, has to run back and get more. It has to run back and get more.
You know what? Is this temple now going to become like Our Lady of Lourdes? Like the famous place. Like if you're suffering some debilitating disease, you can come here, cross the seal. You don't actually have to go through the whole booby trap business. You can get somebody to go get the grail water and bring it back out to you, and you're healed immediately.
So here's my question. Is it the cup that's magical? Is it the combination of cup and font? Is there something special about the spring water? Could you fill up a jerry can with cup water and bring that through?
I'm thinking you can. I mean, like anything, there's not a legend about the grail and its water font. It's just the grail. Like the grail is the magical thing.
Could you put anything in the grail then?
We think so. Yeah.
Right.
Coffee.
Yeah, but I feel like there still has to be some, like, this is when Indy drinks gulps here. That's his second leap of faith of the day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I somehow think that comes into the equation. For instance, Donovan had no leap of faith at all.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even think about anything. I mean, and Elsa's like, I'll choose for you. And he goes, thank you, doctor. It's like he didn't even think or choose anything.
Yeah. I think Indy's feeling really lucky right now. He's feeling like he's got it.
But if Donovan had drunk out of the grail now, like if Donovan hadn't chosen the wrong, if he hadn't had the wrong grail chosen for him, would he have had eternal life, even though he didn't actually have faith in any of the challenges or anything?
Yeah, I think so. Well, no, because he would have taken the grail anyway.
But Henry does. He hasn't done the challenges.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Henry does.
That's true.
See, but then a part of me thinks, but the whole point of it is you have to prove yourself worthy. So I guess once you prove, if you
to get the cup.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's what. Yes.
Do they ever say that that's
what the booby traps are for?
Well, when do they? I'm being dead serious.
No,
when do
you
they
have
actually
to.
say
No,
that?
so am I. You have to defeat the knight in single combat.
You have to defeat the knight in single combat. That's the only thing that he says you have to do to prove your, to.
Yes, but that's part of the end of it.
But that's to become a grail knight. That's not necessarily to drink from the grail.
But you could argue that,
that's true.
Indy didn't enter combat with him.
Right.
He just looked at him and he fell over.
Yeah, the guy forfeited, which counts, I guess, on the scoreboard.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess
it's not a satisfying win.
Is the booby trap, all the booby traps and the whole thing and the single combat knight, that's only to become the guardian of the grail?
No. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? But I never get the impression that the booby traps, I think they're just to Oh, are we done with this movie yet? I think they're just like, they're challenges. They're challenges to keep people out, but the only people who would make it as far as the Knight's Cave would be the people who knew enough about, how to be penitent before God, the name of God, these things. They'd make the leap of faith. So there's sort of tests to get there, and then once you get there, and then once you get there, it depends on whether you think the knight just made this stuff up or if he's somehow ordained by God to be doing this.
Yeah.
You have to fight him and best him.
Yeah.
And then I guess you can choose to drink from the grail if you want to, but that's not totally your job. But you're probably going to want to because it's cool. Why come all this way not to get immortality? So Donovan, I think, could do that. I think Donovan could follow Indy all the way through, not deal with the knight at all, drink from the grail. And then he'd be stuck with the idea of, okay, do I this whole time I've wanted the grail, but did I only want it for eternal life? In which case I would just leave it here and leave because I have eternal life. Or do I leave and give up the eternal life and take the grail with me?
Well, what about the soldier who kind of half-heartedly aims his gun when they come walking out? Like, A, why don't these soldiers do anything? But then B, if this soldier had decided, well, I'm just going to grab the grail and take a drink myself, would he be immortal?
Well,
Probably.
no one asks where Donovan is.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all just relieved.
That's true.
Yeah. Maybe they think they're working for Elsa.
Or they think he's immortal, sitting in on a throne somewhere.
He said to give us all your money and put down your guns. Get me a sandwich.
I love that, Tom. You're right at like the rope bridge at Temple of Doom.
I'm not. No,
we got you. We're gonna keep kicking you. We're kicking you.
No. I'm actually having fun. I'm having more fun than I was then. But
no, yeah,
it's just sticky. It's weird and nebulous. Like all this. I don't know if any of us is wrong or right. It's all the booby traps and what the Grail Knight's job is and stuff. It's all very fuzzy.
Well, it's a little tough if he's making all this up versus he's anointed by God.
Yeah,
and there's a little bit of both. That's the thing. There's a little bit of both in there. There's a spiritual component, and you're like, maybe he. We have no idea what Joseph. It all begins with Joseph of Arimathea. What's he doing?
Yeah.
Why did he take the cutlery?
Right.
And the dishes.
Yeah, and then fill it with
and
blood.
he went to France or wherever he did. Come on.
Hey, can I say something unabashedly positive after all my negativity?
Please.
Or positive frustration. The Alka-Seltzer wound clearing up is maybe my favorite practical effect in any film ever.
Loved that as a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
I was like, how are they doing that?
It is so simple and satisfying.
Did your mom used to put hydrogen peroxide when you got a cut?
Yeah.
No.
It did that it looked exactly like that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it turns out your mom was wrong if she did that. Like it's actually not good, but yeah, it would like.
Isn't that just bleach?
Leave it to moms.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
Is that just an Alka-Seltzer tablet?
I think it's it's like early like baking soda and maybe he's pouring vinegar on it and it's made out of baking soda.
I'm always a bit freaked out by the lump underneath.
Yeah, that
looks
like
this
creeps me out too.
There's like a fist under the skin or something.
There's like the bullet coming out or something. I don't know.
There's a lump there.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that that's just his rib cage, isn't it? The bottom of his rib cage?
Is it though?
Or it's a xenomorph? I don't know.
Yeah, xenomorph. I'm going to say something really, really positive. John Williams is doing an amazing job here. From the point that the knight starts doing his speech all the way through. He's kind of channeling Elgar and Vaughan Williams and those sort of 20th century British composers. If you listen to Variations on a Theme by Thomas Tallis by Vaughan Williams, it's a lot like this. And it's a beautiful piece of music.
And I think he actually quotes right here at the very end of this minute Miklos Rosa's score for King of Kings, which another great 20th century composer.
I will take your word on it.
But absolutely gorgeous. And I think pieces of all of those made their way into this. Absolutely beautiful.
I got a question for Jerry. Has Marcus been standing looking up the steps for the whole time?
Yes.
Because shouldn't he be putting pressure on the wound or something?
Where's my lunch?
He's you promised watercolors today. He's I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why they decided to use Marcus here and then they don't use him at all. And he's kind of.
When they're pouring the water on, there's just a shot of Indy's face with like Marcus leering over behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on? It's Alka-Seltzer and water.
Yeah. You know, is
Yeah.
it
Sorry,
did
Jerry.
Indy need to put thank you, I appreciate that. Did Indy need to pour the grail water on Henry's wound, or like did that just sort of accelerate the healing?
Yeah, maybe. And it
Like
gives
if
the
he had
audience
just
something to look
drunk
at.
it and they were all good and walked out, like maybe within 2 hours he'd be fine.
Yeah, or even quicker. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's a
Alright.
good question. I like the.
Thank you.
You know,
But
there's
there's
something.
something
He literally just
satisfying,
washes.
yeah.
He washes
Yeah, there's
away
something great.
the wound. It just dissolves and goes away. That's really nice.
Yeah.
So is the bullet still inside?
Oh God, that's a terrible thought.
Also, there's like a
Probably.
there's like a blackish kind of dot, and at first I think that's blood, but maybe that's the bullet coming out.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Or it's like
Maybe.
stuck in him, but then he's gonna poop it out later or something. It's gonna work its way out of his system.
I think that becomes, that's Henry's little butterfly. It'll be transformed.
On the day he dies, it's gonna pop out.
Has butterflies in his stomach for the rest of his
Except
life.
he's not going to die.
He's constantly nervous.
Well, see, okay, check this out. So if Henry didn't drink, then he would still be mortal. But if they put the holy water, grail water on the wound, it immediately fixes the wound. But if
Oh.
he hadn't drunk, then he'd just be mortal with the healed wound.
Or with an unhealed wound. Is it? Oh, well, I'm not sure. What
No,
you're
no,
saying.
no. I'm saying if you drink it, you get immortality.
Yeah.
What if you just applied the grail water topically?
Oh, okay.
Ah,
But then conversely, if he only drank it and didn't wash the wound off, would he be live forever? But he's got a gaping bullet hole in
In
his
agony.
side.
Yeah.
well, that's the whole question, isn't it? Because the
Yeah.
knight gets older, I assume, unless he's
Yeah.
that age when he enters and drinks from the cup.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We've
Well,
given up
that's
on
weird.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also a very good hair remover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All smooth.
Do you think that's Sean Connery's stomach?
I doubt it. I don't know why it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like Harrison Ford's hand, but there are some pretty good hand
maybe.
doubles out there.
Yeah.
Do you think Indy is saying to his dad, see what all this grail crap brought us? Yeah, this is it. This is how the story ends, old man. 40 years of searching for this, and you're on the ground with a bullet in your belly.
Yeah. I shouldn't save you. I should teach you a lesson.
Oh, this is how the movie should have began. It should have begun with Sean Connery lying on the floor here, and he sits up and he's like, "You might be wondering how I got here. You might be wondering how I got this bullet hole in my
I
stomach."
don't think he says it like that. Can we have a Sean Connery saying that, please?
I'll let you do that. I'm not. My Sean Connery's not up to.
Might be wondering how I got here. Oh God, I don't know where that's gone now. There's no S's in it, so I can't do it properly.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, suffering succotash.
I was slapping my son in 1912.
So I've got a story about Sean Connery.
Oh.
I was involved in making a film which no one saw, but it was called Faint Heart, which is about, it's like a romantic comedy about reenactment people in the UK. And it premiered at the Edinburgh Film Festival, and it was the closing film of the festival. And it was made in collaboration with MySpace. Remember them?
Yeah. Wow.
This was
Tom
like
from
10 years
MySpace.
ago. Yes, yeah, like 10 years ago. And Sean Connery was in the audience, sat on the front row with me watching it.
Wow.
And as he left, my colleague overheard him saying, "Well, that was a load of shit," which sums up the audience's reaction. So yeah. I wasn't involved in the creative process, just the locations.
There you go. Make that clear.
I bet those were gorgeous. So.
Oh yeah, it looks nice. It looks great. And that's part of the reason why you asked me on here. I guess all of this would have been shot at Elstree.
Oh yeah.
And your audience won't know this, but I got you some Elstree goodies sent you in the post.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
yeah.
Thank you
When I
for
was
that.
That's
Yeah,
great.
I'll have to
Elstree
post some pictures of that. Some pretty
swag.
cool stuff.
Yeah.
I use my bag at my tote bag every day.
See, I knew it. I sent it to Pete because I was thinking, I don't know you guys at all, but who's going to use a tote bag? It's going to be Pete. Who's going to use a lanyard? It's going to be Jerry.
Yeah.
I think Tom, you got a lanyard.
I got
as
a
well,
lanyard,
and- yeah. So you got different things: pens, notebooks, And I have to give a bit of a shout out to my colleague who I used to work with at a company called Creative England, Hayley Armstrong, who got me that. She still works at Elstree. She goes there every day.
Awesome.
Nice.
Oh, thanks,
Nice,
Haley.
Haley.
And,
Thank you, Steve.
and
Thank you.
She sent me a text actually because I asked her what was filming there at the moment, just if you were interested.
Yeah.
They shoot quite a lot of sort of regular television stuff there. So Dancing with the Stars equivalent, we call it Strictly Come Dancing. And there's a thing called Pointless, which is a quiz show, which is very popular. The Chase, another quiz show, which is very popular, sort of the daytime quiz shows. But then they got season 3 of The Crown there is at the moment.
Oh, cool.
And they've done the first 2 seasons there. And I was lucky enough to go on set. I had a bit of a tour around set when I was still working for Creative England.
Oh, nice.
And they've got like a mock-up of Downing Street on the back lot and the gates of Buckingham Palace as well.
Oh, wow.
Well, I will, when this episode airs, I'll post a picture of me at Downing Street, at fake Downing Street.
Oh, excellent.
The first Paddington film there, The Danish Girl, The King's Speech. So yeah, I mean, they don't have a huge amount of capacity anymore, but I know that they're expanding it and creating a few more studio spaces, and I think they're in the middle of that at the moment. And I actually got a LinkedIn request from the MD the other day, Roger Morris, who messaged me. I was thinking about getting in touch with him because you guys seem to do more marketing for Elstree Studios than anyone else I know. So you deserve the swag.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that. That was awesome.
Yeah,
That's
that was
all right.
awesome.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Well, Jerry, speaking of swag,
Speaking of
And,
swag and
or swagger.
lovely things,
Swagger.
swagger.
Speaking of segues.
Yes. This just in from Professor Christy Porter. Coming over the wire. Why is Henry manscaped all around the bullet wound?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm looking
Christy
at it
and I
right
are on
now. Yeah,
We're on the same
It's-
wavelength.
You guys
it's
are
pretty
paying way
weird,
too much
actually.
attention
Yeah.
to
And you know what it looks
Primary
like? It looks like someone nared.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like nair.
Ned. Yeah, we call
Yeah,
it
that hair.
Veet, I think we call that here. Like the paste.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like removes hair, which is just creepy and disgusting.
And whoever that man is, whoever's stomach that is, he's a very hirsute man.
Yes, yes.
I like the I do like the little clench of the stomach as the
Yeah.
It's a good bit of stomach acting.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
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 He's reacting.
Well, why would it hurt if that's Jesus juice?
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I would think it should be. I mean, we talked about what does the Grail water taste like, and I thought, this beautiful water.
Yeah.
So what would this? I wonder what about this would hurt.
Maybe he's
Again,
just
probably
wincing
one of
'cause
those.
it tickles.
Cold. Be cold.
I thought,
Caves are cold.
what am I even asking? The question, the answer's in the question there. It's Catholic. Whatever's good for you is painful.
Yeah, life is pain. God's love is pain.
Whatever it is, it's like, here you go. Here's some pleasure. Now, except there's one caveat. I tell you, there's always some old man with this thorny asterisk wagging his finger at you. Nope. Can't cross the seal, though. That's the price of immortality. Like, immortality sucks then.
Thorny Asterisk was the name of my Fleetwood Mac cover band.
That's your Wu-Tang Clan name. You go to the name generator. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for joining
Yes.
us the past couple of days.
That's been fantastic.
Even without the swag, we would have appreciated your presence and your help with
that's
these minutes.
nice. I listen to the show every day, man. It's good. I like it a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We have fun.
We do. Even when we're furious.
So I've heard that there's another film being planned.
Yes.
You're going to be covering that one, the fourth film, is it? I think. In the
Depending
trilogy?
on how you're counting, yeah, the trilogy is
God.
either 5 or 4 movies, and or will be. Yeah, I think we're in for a penny, in for a pound.
We're like a bad penny, right, Tom?
Well, huh?
Yeah.
We're like a bad penny.
Yeah, we're in for a bad penny, in for a pound of dollars. Yeah. No, yeah, we're planning on doing everything. I think, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Except for that stupid Indiana Jones TV show.
No. Not yet. Not everything.
No.
There's no promise about doing the young Indiana Jones.
No. Well, that's not a movie.
Oh,
No.
my,
We're talking about a movie. If
Yeah.
a movie
Okay, I
comes
just- I
out
can
that
sure
says,
says
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
If
have
a
never
movie
seen
comes
any
out
of the young Indiana Jones.
says the movie says Indiana Jones and the whatever fill in
Yeah.
adjective and a noun and a peacock, we're going to do it.
Well, Stephen, why don't you tell the people again about your stuff that you're working on, where they can find it?
Yep, if you like theatre, and if you like theatre outdoors in the English summer, which is mixed, then you can go and see a play that I'm producing this year. We've got 4 shows on the road. So The Merchant of Venice, The Adventures of Dr. Dolittle, The Hand of the Baskervilles, and The Pirates of Penzance. And they are touring across the whole of the UK. And you can get your tickets at Illyria, ILLYRIA, illyria.co.uk.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
And if you also want to pick Stephen's brain and other Indiana Jones Minute fans' brainses, you can go over to Facebook to our group, Indiana Jones Minute and the Listeners Crusade. Stephen and lots of other cool people are hanging out over there, discussing the movies, discussing the show, discussing life, and it's a beautiful place, and you should be part of it. And
Tom
you should
just
also
said I was cool.
Yeah, no, you're cool. We didn't want you to find out this way, but it's true. You're cool.
Oh, thanks.
So all you cool people like Steven, come back next week for minute 116 of Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Wait, do it, Chair.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, I will.
Do it,
We're
Jerry.
all a bunch of Anglophones.
I have nothing to add. I will just be monotone. No, that's